So you're thinking about moving to Night Fae, let's help you out with the best guide on what to do. Quickly before we start, I want to shout out my Twitch stream where we go live every Sunday, Tuesday and Wednesday from 7:30 till 11 PM UK playing WoW, answering all your Fury Warrior questions. And if you want to further support us, then please do consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel and turning on your notifications. Anyway, on with the video. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning champions, and welcome back to another video. And today we're exploring Night Fae and what you need to do and the setups, because there's different talent builds, there's different Soulbind builds, and you need to use certain things in different situations. And let's give you an overview of the entire thing. Off the bat, I want to say thank you to one of my viewers, Docs, who helped me kind of effectively form this guide by sending me a load of information. So thank you very much to Docs for helping me out here. But let's get straight into it. So before we go into it, let's really quickly chat about why you might want to think about changing. So I've got a video up here which is kind of discussing the reasons why you choose between Night Fae and Venthyr and kind of the pros and cons about each one of them. However, I've made the move recently in the last couple of weeks. I'm currently Renown 17 as of filming this, and it's been a really fun move. I find it actually really enjoyable. It kind of reminds me back of the Legion days where I had that extra spell to cast. Can't remember the name of it, but it's nice to weave something into the class rather than just having Condemn. After playing Condemn for so long, it got quite dry, and moving to this kind of brought a new life into it, and it was actually a lot of fun to trial this one out and see what it's like. And like I said, weaving a new ability in there is actually quite a nice thing to do. It's also quite nice having two different Soulbind builds and two different talent builds, and it's nice to change things up and always be adjusting what you're doing depending on the scenario that you're in. Also, depending on the scenario you're in as well, you can put out some insane damage. Let's first start off by looking at the actual abilities that you get by becoming a Night Fae. So the biggie is Ancient Aftershock, and it's a 1.5 minute cooldown spell which leaves a lasting dot on the floor whilst knocking down 5 enemies in front of you and putting out a big bit of damage on that first initial hit. Because it knocks them down, you get a massive stun. So big reasons why you want to try this. Anytime I've cast this spell, you can literally watch your damage tick up over that period. It's such a powerful spell, and where it's 1.5 minute, generally speaking in Mythic Plus you can cast it every other mob. In Rage you can often get about 3 to 4 to 5 of them off depending on the length of the fight. It's really fun, and as long as they the enemies stay in the area, you can get some big damage. You also get Soul Shape, which is actually a nicer ability than Door of Shadows. Door of Shadows is great. I hate cast times though. I'm a Fury Warrior, I don't want to cast anything. This is an instant movability spell that I've actually been using quite a lot. I don't use a lot of move spells besides Charge and Leap. However, Soul Shape actually brings quite a nice thing to the table, because not only do you change into a Vulpin or whatever kind of soul shape thing you have, you can also blink across the map. Super useful, really fun, and again 1.5 minute cooldown, so you can use it at those peak times where you need to get moving. So up next we're going to look at the Soulbind builds for single target and AoE. So in your single target tree build, you're going to be having Nia as your go-to Soulbind person thing. On the screen now you can see the optimal kind of path to take for your Soulbind, and these are going to be the conduits that we use for it. So the first one is Depths of Insanity, giving you an increased recklessness. We then move to Inspiring Presence, which gives you Rallying Cries duration and health granted are increased by 30%. As we work our way down, we go into Stalwart Guardian, Bruce Vitality, and then we end up in the biggie. And this is why Night Fae has kind of been started to become this new good thing, is because this bottom row of talents are insanely good. And for single target, you want to be Nia's Tall Burrs. For this one, your damaging attacks and spells have a chance to toss Nia Spike Burrs under your target. The burrs latch onto the first enemy to cross them, and it reduces their movement speed, whilst also inflicting a dot on them. So not only are you potentially putting out one of your big Ancient Aftershocks, you could also then get a trigger on this one. So you could get 2 dot abilities under your enemy at the same time, putting out massive damage. And this is kind of where Venthyr versus Night Fae lines up in their damage, and actually they put out very similar damage. It might be a difference of about 50 DPS, but overall very powerful. Up next for our AoE build as well, we've got Koran. So once again on the screen we have the soul tree build that you need to be going for, and each of these conduits kind of help out to make this a very powerful in AoE situations. So off the bat we have Destructive Reverberations, which reduce the cooldown of Ancient Aftershock by 14%. Massive decrease. We then go into Inspiring Presence, Stalwart Guardian, Indelible Victory, and we go into our final row of talent, which is First Strike. And First Strike gives us a lovely crit increase. So damaging an enemy before they attack you increases your chance to critical strike by 25% for 5 seconds. So as this builds up and adds up, and every time you hit this, and say you're in an AoE situation, you charge and you get that first hit, you get the critical strike to go off, you then cast your Ancient Aftershock and you get a massive crit on that, potentially doubling the overarching damage that you put out from Ancient Aftershock, meaning that you could spike at something like 20 to 30k depending what your initial hit is. So you can get massive additional crit and additional damage put out with this one talent at the end of your whole thing. Also, we need to look at our talents. It's not just the Soulbind builds, we have to change our talents accordingly. So let's have a look at the talent builds that we need to be using. So our first one is single target, and the tree is on the screen at the minute. As you can see by the talent build here, we're going for frenzy, which is our main change, as our third row. We are doing this because overarching in a single target fight, you're going to get around 8% total haste added to you once stacked up. So generally speaking, I often see myself sitting around 45% haste while using frenzy. Due to the loss of condemn, because we're now night fae, Massa becomes weaker in short, because compared to condemn, execute is a weaker spell. As we also know, as far as like spec build is concerned, haste is very, very important for Fury Warriors, because haste means more rage, which means more rampages going off, which also means more reculuses having shorter cooldowns, and ancient aftershock having short cooldowns. So the more haste we have, the more damage we do, and by having frenzy there, we are pumping things out so fast. You're getting really short cooldowns on rampage, you're getting really short cooldowns on recklessness, and you're getting tons of rampages out because you've got such a fast haste that you've got so much rage being built so quickly. When it comes to multi-target, it's the same as ever with our fresh meat, our storm bolt, and our massacre being our top 3 rows of kind of your talents to be going for. So that's nice and easy because that kind of stays the same. But have a play around, try out these different builds. There might be more that come out in the future, there might be different ones that have been out in the past. These at the time of filming are the optimal ones to go for your single target and for your AoE. So have fun with it, enjoy the damage, enjoy Ancient Aftershock. Night Fae is fun. It might not be the most enticing covenant for most people. I'm not a massive fan of Night Fae as a whole. However, these abilities, these talent builds, the whole thing is just a lot of fun. And then finally is the Renown. Obviously, you're going to have to rebuild your Renown to kind of get to the bigger ends. Your big DPS will come from those final rows in your Soulbind builds, and from kind of getting things like Quirion at the end of the Night Fae campaign. So it will take a while to get there. However, getting through your Renown is actually very easy at the moment. Jump into a normal raid, and most likely you'll get a Renown from every single boss. Jump into a Heroic, it'll be the same. Every Mythic Plus you do, you'll get a Renown. Heroics, World Quests, everything will give you Renown. So to be fair, you'll get to your 30 Renown very quickly. However, don't be disheartened by the initial move over. Like I said, the first time you move over to Night Fae, your damage isn't going to be as big as it was with the Venthyr, only because our bulk of our DPS in Night Fae comes from that final talent on the Soulbind trees. However, once you get there, you're going to be smashing things in insane ways. It's going to be amazing. Other than that, I hope you found this video useful. This is, like I said, I wanted to make a full Night Fae build guide to kind of help you guys through it and get a quick information out there so you know how to quickly change. I would 100% recommend moving to Night Fae. I know I had my video kind of helping you decide, but I would say, as of right now, jump on over. 9.1 is not coming until August, according to some specific speculation YouTube channels who may or may not be very clickbaity in their titles. But other than that, thank you for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, please chuck a like, comment and subscribe down below. Also above my head, thank you to all the supporters that we've had this month. We've had tons come through, absolutely amazing. So thank you all for always showing the support. But other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.